Hey, this is Leah with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about cleaning eggs. Let's talk a little bit about egg anatomy first. An egg has a lot of natural protection against contamination. You're probably aware that on the inside, just on the inside of the shell, there's a membrane that separates the contents of the egg from the shell. Also, you may not be aware that on the outside of the egg is what is called the bloom. This is a clear coating that is put on by a hen as she's laying the egg, and it actually seals the pores of the shell, further protecting the egg from contamination. So in a farm setting where your eggs are likely to be very fresh, there's a very small chance of contamination. It's a little different in the industrial setting. For one thing, when you buy eggs in the grocery store, they're several months old. They are washed, but not necessarily washed with thoroughly sanitary water, which is why you're advised to cook your eggs thoroughly and all of that. So yeah, a lot of people are not aware of that fact that eggs they get in the grocery store are not necessarily fresher or better or cleaner or any of that. There's two methods for cleaning eggs. There's a dry method and there is a wet method. Be aware that in many localities, if you're going to sell eggs, you are legally required to wash your eggs using the wet method. So let's talk about that first. I have here in my bowl a dirty egg. This is an egg that, as you can see, has some poop on it. One way to avoid this is to keep your nest boxes really clean, but this will happen from time to time regardless of what you do. So this is an egg you definitely want to wash using the wet method. And that is, you want to use hot soapy water, at least 20 degrees warmer than the egg itself. And the reason for that is that water that is colder than the egg will tend to draw bacteria inside the egg. So you want to use water that is warm, 20 degrees warmer than the egg. After you do that, you would then put in just a very small amount of bleach. I actually just use a bleach solution that's probably not even 5 or 10%. I put a few squirts in the hot soapy water that I've been washing the eggs in, and take them out, dry them off, let them just air dry, and what I do then is I put a thin coating of mineral oil on the shell, and that helps reseal the pores of the egg. When you do that, just try to get as much of this organic material off the egg and out of the water, because bleach tends to not be as effective in the presence of a lot of organic matter. The more organic matter there is, the less effective the bleach will be. And you only have to soak that in bleach for about 30 seconds. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the dry method. I have here my nice egg basket. This is a vintage egg basket that I very much enjoy using. Obviously not required for collecting eggs or cleaning them for that matter, but and I have here a scouring pad. You could use a scouring pad, you could use a piece of sandpaper. Fine sandpaper works. I like the scouring pad because I can wash it and bleach it, but it only lasts a few uses because it tends to compress and not be as abrasive after a little while. So the dry method is simply to take this scouring pad and an egg and just rub off any dirt or little pieces of litter from the nest boxes or whatever is on there. This is my preferred method, but again, be aware that you may be required to wash your eggs using the wet method if you're selling them. If you're just eating them at home, it's totally fine to just do this. And frankly, I think it's perfectly clean. And that's it. That's all there is to it. So this preserves the bloom on the egg. So in many ways, it's a better method of protection. One other thing I'll just point out is that consider putting your eggs into the egg box pointy side down. And the reason for that is it actually keeps the yolk in the egg centered better. So you kind of get a better egg. That's also particularly important for hatching eggs. You want the yolk to be centered. That is all there is to it. It's pretty simple. Happy egg cleaning.